When I found out I was going to be a parent, I immediately felt a lot of anxiety and worry. So I went on to BetterHelp to try to look for a therapist to help me with that.
My relationship with my family and with my boyfriend and with myself were suffering. I really needed help.
I was ruminating a lot. Really getting those thoughts out to a therapist and getting feedback was just life-changing.
Discover what BetterHelp Online Therapy can do for you. Visit BetterHelp.com today.
Welcome to the Instagram Stories for Monday, January 9th. I'm your host, Daniel Hill. Do you know what we do on Mondays? Of course you do.
It is Thursday, so tomorrow I'm going to do my first AMA of the new year, ask a question, and I will try and answer it.
We talk about what the head of Instagram, Adam Mosseri, shared on his Ask Me Anything. I want to start with the question that I'm most excited to talk about, which is the notes feature. The question is, how are notes doing? If you're not familiar with notes, and you should be if you listen to this show frequently, but if you go into your DMs, you can add a note there, sort of like a status message, or back in the AOL Instant Messenger day, aka AIM, we would call it the away message, where we would write song lyrics that were deep and meaningful to us. I noticed initially that a lot of people were using it right off the bat, and now it's sort of dropped off in usage, at least among my friends. But I noticed that it's a good chance to just write something really random in there. You want to get an opinion. You will get replies because every time people open their DM inbox, they're going to see your note right at the top. And what's even better is the less people who write notes, the more yours stands out. So actually, that's a good thing. Of course, Instagram can measure how much features are used within an app. Here's the answer to how are notes doing.
So far, so good. The initial reception was really strong, but these new features sometimes have a novelty effect, so we'll see how it stabilizes over the next couple of weeks.
Novelty effect. I love that term. I'm going to use that. Obviously, it's when something is very new and exciting, and over time, the novelty wears off. I absolutely love that phrase. Let's get into the next question. Can I limit the amount of time I use Instagram? You already know the answer.
We actually have a tool for that. You go to settings and then your activity, and then you'll see time spent right there. And you can set a limit for you on a daily basis. And because we want to make sure that you feel good about the time that you spend on the platform and only spend as much time as you feel good about.
Next question. It's not a question. Hacked again with 3 angry emoji faces. Being hacked on Instagram is the worst. Of course, you know about Instagram.com/hacked. Still doesn't provide you a human to talk to, but it's an improvement, and you can have your friends verify you are who you say you are, which is really cool.
If you've been hacked, hopefully you didn't share your password with any sketchy services or anything like that, but please go to Instagram.com/hacked, and a reminder to all of you out there to turn on two-factor authentication. Turn on two-factor, please.
You heard the man. If you don't have two-factor authentication on, turn it on. It's a pain in the neck, especially when you get a new phone and you have to log in. But how often do you really log into Instagram? Just turn it on. It'll be better in the long run. We have some other good questions coming up, like what are your criteria when hiring personnel? That's for me. And also, what are your internet predictions for 2023? Stick around after the break.
This episode is brought to you by Michigan Economic Development Corporation. In Michigan, you can have both a rewarding career and a quality lifestyle, with plentiful career opportunities in world-changing, innovating industries, from electric vehicles to clean energy to biotech, with room for advancement no matter where you are in your career. Plus, Michigan offers a welcoming, beautiful, affordable, and inclusive community for all. Live your best life. You can in Michigan. Visit themichiganlife.org.
And we're back. Let's take a brief moment to talk about my life goals. A few years ago, I decided that I wanted to work at Instagram. However, I didn't know anyone who worked at Instagram, and I wasn't sure how to demonstrate that I wanted to work there in a way that would make me stand out and look different. I came up with the idea of starting an Instagram show, and I would talk about the new features as Instagram released them. And then at some point, someone from Instagram would hear my show and say, wow, this guy really knows a lot about Instagram, despite not even being on our team. We should totally have him on our team. They would call me up or send me a DM and they would say, Daniel, how do you know so much about the features? And I would say, well, in my normal job, I'm a product manager, meaning that I work on features as they get deployed in apps or websites, and I would love to do that as part of the Instagram team. However, that plan did not work out. What can you do? Sometimes things just don't go according to plan. Here is Adam Mosseri's answer to the question, what is your criteria when hiring personnel?
Well, it depends a lot on the role, but the three things I look for consistently are grit, like do you have some drive, the ability to pick up things quickly, and someone being humble enough to take feedback. Because if you have those three things, you can really accomplish anything over time.
And the last question we're going to talk about today, any internet predictions for 2023?
I'll focus these on creators. I think we're going to continue to see power shift from institutions to individuals, which will mean creators will continue to grow. But they're going to continue to become more savvy, leverage more than one platform at a time. I think you'll see more people take on being a creator as a side hustle as well. And I think you're going to see more people actually embrace this idea of being a digital creator. So you'll see some people whose voice is their voice, but their visual is actually completely generated by a computer. And we'll even start to see people play around with AI-generated content as well.
My predictions for 2023 are that you will see more ads on social media, more recommended posts, meaning you will see less from your family and friends and other people that you care about, and that you will definitely make less money from the platforms than you did in times past. You may have other sponsored deals or brand partnerships, and those will definitely continue. But in terms of the social media platforms themselves and the amounts they pay out, I expect those to only decrease over 2023. Of course, I could be wrong, but those are my predictions at this time. That's going to do it for today's show. I am traveling this week, so if you would like to guest host the show for a day or longer, send me a DM at Daniel Hill Media. You would be doing me a solid favor. I'll be glad to send you the blueprint and exactly the script I use to get started if you'd like. Send me a DM at Daniel Hill Media, and thanks so much for listening.
I'm not yet a member of the Instagram team, but my podcast covers many Instagram themes. But the name, image, logos are trademarks of Instagram and the LCC in the USA and every territory. Everything I publish independently until Zuck returns my DMs and starts to pay my salary. Not sponsored or endorsed, no lies, no fallacies. I use their logo with permission, not malicious or callously. No trademark violation, filling all criteria. Follow me on Instagram or Twitter at Daniel Hill Media.